The most wonderful thing happened over the weekend. A momentous occasion. My daughter finally got married. I was beginning to wonder if this day would ever come, but it did. And it was like a fairy tale, complete with a terrifying villain and a happily ever after. My fellow Toastmasters, if you've even heard of a wedding, I hope you realize just how much planning goes into this momentous occasion. I think it was at the planning stage when I first noticed the friction between my planning style and the future mother-in-law's planning style. I'm all about preparation, precision, perfection. She was all lackadaisical, which means carelessly lazy. I'll give you an example. I said, what do you want as the main course? And she replied, I don't know. Well, I'm having trouble finding the recipe for that. Is it under D for don't or K for no? I gave her the nickname Monster-in-Law after we had to arm wrestle whether the flowers are going to be fresh or silk. I did not win. So we have outrageously exotic flowers, which translates as expensive. They were chosen. Now, all the pictures are going to be a reflection of that villainous woman who I have to share my daughter with and whose offspring I get to call son-in-law. Since I couldn't find the recipe for I don't know, she picked the caterer. When dinner was served, the soup was so watery that it could stop the drought in Arizona. The main course wasn't much better. My steak was so rare that I could still hear it mooing. I looked over at my husband's dish because he ordered roast chicken, and it was so undercooked that a skilled vet could still save it. I looked up at the head table to see if they were faring any better, and my lovely daughter, the bride, gave me a little wave, and I could see a tattoo. A tattoo? My daughter has a tattoo? I could see a tattoo on the inside of her wrist. And as I squinted, I could make out the outline of a fork. Fork. A fork. Then I remembered a story that I had told her when she was a little girl. And we were having a big dinner at my granny's house. As the plates were being cleared away, after a feast fit for a king, Granny always used to say, keep your forks. And we would know that something good was coming next. Not something simple that you could eat with your fingers or with a spoon, but something good that you could sink your teeth into. When Granny died, her only request was she be buried with a fork in her hand. She told the pastor that if anybody asked about the fork, that he was to wink at them and point skyward and declare, the best is yet to come. I looked back at my daughter with tears in my eyes. She still believed in happily ever afters. She was all grown up now, and oh dang, I'm ruining my makeup. Finally, the time came for wrapping up the evening. It was time for the bride to throw the bouquet. Yes, that expensive bouquet whose exotic flowers made my nose itch. It was going to be tossed into the air and grabbed at by all the eligible young ladies. My daughter stood back by the door, turned her back, lowered herself into a bouquet launching pose. When she released, all I could hear was the gentle rain as hundreds of pearl beads popped off the back of her dress and bounced across the floor, skittering like tiny cockroaches when the light is turned on. What could I do? Okay, but join the crowd of elbowing, shrieking young ladies and scrabble across the floor and scoop up a few mementos to forever remember this momentous occasion.